What up, though, Detroit? It is I, your lawyer. Now, we begin today with breaking news. Today is August 26th, and Michael Jackson Bolanos is still in prison. Now, if you're confused, congratulations, because you've been paying attention. But nobody appears more surprised by this development than the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, which apparently receives its information about the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office from the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, and somehow still gets it wrong. On August 4th, their office told the public that the parole board delayed Michael's release until August 26th. They said it with confidence. The kind of confidence normally reserved for people who have actually checked their information. They said August 26th with the confidence of people who apparently believed August 26th would never actually arrive. Unfortunately for them, the calendar remained committed to the investigation. And today, August 26th, has shown up. I showed up. You showed up. The truth showed up. Michael did not. And somewhere inside the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, there is somebody staring at a calendar asking, wait, was August always after July? Don't worry. Their communications department is probably warming up their industrial-sized word blender right now with, we regret any misunderstanding regarding the words of released, August, and 26th. No. There was no misunderstanding. Their office said August 26th. Today is August 26th, and Michael is still in prison. This is not calculus. It's barely counting. Their August 4th statement that they released had one job: tell the public the truth. But instead, it failed the assignment, forgot its lunch, and missed the bus home. But here's the part that is really not funny. The Wayne County Prosecutor's Office knew Michael's parole had been suspended. They knew their appeal was still pending. They knew they had asked the court to interfere with his release, and they knew, or at least certainly should have known, that August 26th was not his release date. So, how does a prosecutor's office suddenly forget how parole actually works? Because this is not a neighborhood book club attempting its first legal proceeding. It's the prosecutor's office. They understood the parole process well enough to intervene in it, and let's not forget they understood it well enough to file an application for leave to appeal. So they understood it well enough to even request a stay of his parole. And they understood it well enough to prevent Michael from walking out of prison. But all of a sudden, when the public asks why Michael remains incarcerated, suddenly the prosecutor's office became a confused and innocent bystander. And all of a sudden, they began to point at the parole board and said, they did it. Their own public statement acknowledged Michael's release dates were delayed following their office's legal actions. Yet somehow, by the next paragraph, all of a sudden the parole board was standing alone at the scene, holding the entire bag of blame. Listen, that is not an explanation at all. What that is from their office is a hit and run performed in a paragraph form. The prosecutor's office described itself as though its employees had merely been taking a peaceful afternoon stroll through the parole process when they accidentally discovered an application for leave to appeal and a motion to stay in their hands. Okay, so apparently they were holding them for a friend? But there are really only two reasonable possibilities here. Let's consider them. Either the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office did not understand the consequences of its own filings, or it understood those consequences perfectly and still chose to give the public misleading information. But neither of those options belongs on government letterhead. And meanwhile, Michael's freedom is being handled like checked luggage on a budget airline. They insist it is on the way, but nobody can tell us where it is. And every time we ask, they just hand us a different claim number. The August 4th statement was not written to inform the public. It was written to make the public stop watching. August 26th was never a release date. It was a please stop asking us questions date. But we did not stop watching. In fact, people are finally paying closer attention now than ever before. From the beginning, I told the public what was actually happening in this case. The prosecutor's office tried to make Michael's team sound dramatic and exaggerated and dishonest. But then the filings came out, and the records came out, and the calendar caught up. And the truth came running onto the stage like an episode of Maury. Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, you are responsible for the delay. Every single time. They gave you assurances, but I gave you warnings. Their assurances expired, but my warnings became timelines. At this point, if the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office announced that water was wet, I would still touch it first and request independent testing. Because this is way bigger than one inaccurate date. The prosecutor's office has thrown obstacle after obstacle between Michael and his freedom. Whenever one obstacle disappears, they reach into their legal junk drawer and search for another one. A paper clip, an expired coupon. Oh, a criminal charge from 6 years ago that prosecutors in their office had already declined multiple times, that same one that they ultimately had dismissed. Anything except for them accepting the outcome. They did not get the result they wanted. And you know what? That happens sometimes in court. And us adults, we call it the legal system. But the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office apparently calls it challenge accepted. Their office is behaving like an ex who cannot accept that the relationship is over. They are still standing outside Michael's freedom at 2:00 in the morning yelling, "I just want to talk." No, absolutely not. The relationship is over. Collect your belongings. Return the hoodie. Matter of fact, delete the pictures. But just get off of his porch. Release Michael Jackson Bolanos. And when I say release Michael, I don't mean that the prosecutor personally needs to drive to the prison carrying a giant ring of keys like a cartoon janitor. I mean, stop fighting his parole. Stop obstructing his release. Stop using the legal system's process to hold up his life because your office is unwilling to accept the outcome. Embarrassment is not a sentence enhancement. Neither are ego, hurt feelings, or an injured reputation. And this is where the jokes actually do have to stop. Because while this situation has become absolutely absurd, what is happening to Michael is not funny. Everybody keeps receiving more time. Like, the prosecutor gets more time. The court gets more time. As a matter of fact, even all of the paperwork gets more time. And let's not forget, their public relations department, they get more time to explain what their last explanation about his release supposedly meant. But Michael is the only person actually doing the time. And every additional day is another day of his life that he cannot recover. Another morning that he wakes up in prison. Another night that his people go to sleep without him at home. Another day of freedom taken from a man whom the parole board already determined should be released. So there will be no more imaginary release dates. There will be no more blaming the parole board for the consequences of your office's own filings. No more statements designed to confuse the public, to redirect responsibility, and to make people stop asking questions. Because we followed the trail. We read the filings. We took our notes. We kept our receipts. And the calendar has now confirmed exactly what we warned the public would happen. Today is August 26th. I am here. You are here. The truth is here. And Michael Jackson Bolanos is not. Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, you have taken enough of his time. Stop fighting his parole. Stop obstructing his freedom. Release Michael Jackson Bolanos.